Um, Hello everybody. My name is Joshua Lopez. Podcast host of Couchside. You can check us out on YouTube, or even when you want to go here, you can check us out on live television or live Facebook. Um, this is a hard one. This really is a hard one. Not only did we lose somebody who fought for a movement greater than him, but we lost somebody that's willing to become a martyr for us. Charlie Kirk was not only the CEO but co-founder of Turning Point USA, which I am proud to say I support. I support Turning Point USA. I support their views. A lot of my views align with them. But as a conservative, we all know that everybody has a different point of view. Even conservatives do. But I just can't get over the fact that the left really wanted to silence us. We'll get back to that here more in a little bit. Well, before we start this, I want to read out a Bible verse. Okay, let's check this out over here. I want to read out a Bible verse. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servant of the Lord. Isaiah 51, verse 54:17. This verse and another verse from Psalms came into my mind when I heard about the shooting, and even now, it just came into my mind. Charlie was a good man. He really was. Wasn't the great, he wasn't the best. A lot of his speeches were not not hateful, none in my eyes at least, but they were could be questionable to other people because how people perceive him as. But Charlie wasn't Charlie wasn't hateful towards anybody. He wasn't mean. He wasn't he didn't despise anybody. And yeah, he had different views than everybody else, but he didn't despise anybody. Um we'll get back to the here in a little bit. Man, I have no words. I wanted to come up here because I didn't. I talked about it before I even decided to go live. Before I even decided to start the podcast up. But man, I have no words. There are no words that can justify killing a human being. There are no words that can make me feel better or make anybody of the conservative movement or even Turning Point USA feel better, especially not a small content creator like me. But I'm gonna try my best to give maybe some hope to not only other conservatives, but the people who looked up to Charlie, who were not only friends but family, and he was a mentor to us all. At the end of the day, he really was. I mean, a lot of my viewpoints and a lot of my opinions really came from him and the way he helped me, so to say. But by this point in time, I want to honor Charlie. by looking at some videos of his or some clips of not only and I'm sorry, I'm not that I'm not it's not that I'm getting worked up. It's more like that I'm really that upset. I'm upset what happened. I'm upset how it happened. But I want to honor Charlie by not only sponsoring his channel, Charlie Kirk, on YouTube, but still have no words. I can't express the pain, or I can't express the sadness for the family, for the Kirk family. Not only his wife, but his two beautiful kids. His beautiful wife and his beautiful kids are just gone now. Um, Erica Kirk, the wife of Charlie, said when she got home, her daughter, her daughter was told her that, mommy, where's daddy? And this that hit when she told us, when she addressed the nation. That hit hard, knowing that a lot of not only just veterans, but people in the workforce, in the dangerous part of the workforce, can actually die during a traumatic a traumatic experience during work, or just an accident, and their kids will be saying the same thing. Mommy, where's daddy? And it's so weird to see that. It's so weird to even think about it. Even think about it, that many kids out there, not only just veterans, not only kids of veterans or kids of soldiers, are just waiting, or not waiting, but are imagining the day that their parents or their dad or their mom won't come home. And as a political activist like Charlie, he was he was targeted. He was gunned down. Enough about my feelings. Let's go ahead and get into what happened. So, on September 10th, 2025, around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, Charlie Kirk was shot. Medics on scene helped him and stop the bleeding best they could, and rushed him, airlifted him to a nearby hospital in Utah. But at, I don't know, a couple hours after that, he was pronounced dead. The killer has just recently been caught. He was he admitted to a family member of his, or a friend of family to him, that he did indeed shoot Charlie, and the bullets were engraved with "Catch this" and "Hey fascist." That's what the bullets were engraved. There are three unspent cartridges in the rifle. This was an act of political violence. Now, to get to my opinion, nobody, and I mean nobody, no matter what your side you're on, whether that's left or that's right, whether you're conservative, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what your stance is, what your opinion is. Nobody has a right to get gunned down like that. And nobody has the right to gun down somebody like that because of a different opinion. my heart's my heart and my prayers go out to the family. Charlie Kirk was a good man. he was. The incident left thousands of kids terrified and traumatized during the incident. The last person who was talking or debating with Charlie Kirk, came up and he decided to talk about what happened and how traumatic he was, and I want to look into that. So let's get into it. Now let's go ahead and look at what happened, and let's see.
So my name is Hunter. I was in the middle of debating Charlie Kirk in the middle of the assassination at Utah Valley University.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
What brought you to the event that day?
I make videos on Charlie Kirk, and I made this video about the statistical analysis on trans shooters. And sort of the point that I was trying to make was that it's sort of a statistical outlier, that they're extremely underrepresented when it comes to how peaceful they are. Obviously, that question, pretty ironic given when it was given. Yeah, so I mostly came in there because Charlie's very open about having some sort of dialogue or some sort of conversation that he believes in engaging, and I'm pretty on the record of how much I disagree with him, but I do definitely respect how much he's willing to platform.
It's very unfortunate to see the last person to debate him, what happened. It's really unfortunate how traumatic that must have been.
Voices to ensure that at least some semblance of a good conversation can come out of it.
Mm-hmm. And as far as these statistical anomaly thing when it comes to trans shooters, is that in response to the way that him and Turning Point were framing that as a big issue?
So it was about 3 weeks ago. There was a trans shooter at a Catholic church. Charlie made a bunch of tweets basically saying when are we going to start noticing that this is a trend? And I'm like, okay, well I'm getting my math degree at UVU. That was my university, and I was like, there's an answer to that. There's, we can determine if there's some sort of outliers. We can use p-values, things like that. And I was like, according to the data, it really doesn't pan out that there is a trend here at all. So I kind of made a video calling him out a little bit and saying, hey, I want to come debate you. I want to come do it. And a lot of people were kind of encouraging me. So I kind of wanted to come and have my, I guess my little audience see that.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete...
Mm-hmm. How was the energy whenever you arrived to the event?
Very conservative, for sure. Everyone was very energetic, chanting Trump, chanting USA.
Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
There was a line of liberals on the rooftop who were holding pride flags and I think some Palestine flags and things like that. And there was a little bit of taunting back and forth, but not very out of hand. Most of the debaters were either asking questions like who's better, LeBron or Jordan, or some theological debates about distinctions between Mormonism and Christians.
That Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God over all. Christ is King.
But also, the event lasted, I want to say 20 minutes, maybe. Like, I really didn't get a good finger on the pulse on what an event would really look like, because, I mean, I showed up fairly early. I was the second person to speak there. So, like, you know, the first person was maybe 10 minutes, and I maybe got, like, less than a minute in. So.
Could you give us kind of a recap of how that conversation with Charlie went?
Sure.
Yeah, this is working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're gonna have a little bit more disagreement.
So it was, I came in and I said, hey, there was a shooting that happened maybe a few weeks ago in Minneapolis.
And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about revoking gun rights for transgender Americans.
Do you think, is that, you agree with this? Is that a fair assessment or something like that? And he said yes. And then I said,
so do you know how many transgender Americans have?
Before we get on to this at the end of it, I don't believe that people should get their rights stripped away, such as owning a firearm, per se, because that's the Second Amendment. But again, there's already limitations to it, and it's not going to stop people, bad people, from getting it the wrong way. It's just going to make the good people that get it the right way harder for them. But let's continue.
Have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
and I said, there's 5. And I said, do you know how many shootings there have been? I think maybe my memory's a little hazy. I haven't rewatched the videos, honestly. But it was something like this, which I knew the answer was, it was a little under 6,000. He said something like, we need to account for gang violence. And I think I was like, I was in the middle of saying, great, did you run a statistical analysis on that, right? Like essentially saying you have the burden of proof. And I think I was in the middle of saying that when he got shot.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I went down pretty immediately, and everyone near me, everyone in the rest of my line, who I'd been talking to for the last like few hours, dropped down with me. I remember, I have a brother who was in a school shooting, and I was talking about the distinction between these, that like for me, it was there wasn't as much fear as I think I would expect, because I recognized immediately, I think I was a lot more logical than I thought I would be in that moment, where I was like, that's an assassination. He is the target. He is the only target. I am freaked out, but I know that I'm okay. Whatever. It definitely became chaotic. My wife was in the crowd. I tried reaching her. It took me like 20, 30 minutes. Just a lot of chaos as I sort of shifted in a weird place, and then I had to wrap back around, and I couldn't find her, and our phones weren't really working, and it was bombarded by texts, and I don't know. So it was very chaotic, and it took a while to really orient myself. But it was a strange environment, because people were kind of milling around afterward. I think a lot of people had this similar idea that it's like, this is different. An assassination is very different from a mass shooting, where a mass shooting you disperse, right? Everyone's a target. But when it comes to an assassination, it's everyone just sort of was there. And I heard a number of people say, like, so much for the tolerant left, right? Like the 2 or 3 people said that as they walked by.
And what do you think about that assessment?
I made this video a little while ago. I've been following, sounds crazy, I've been following Charlie Kirk for a little while. I went to Tampa, Florida for one of his events. I remember I was just basically interviewing some of his followers, and I found this girl, and she seems so young and bright, ignorant for sure, dumb, I would probably say. I'm like, I'll be honest, dumb. But I was just asking her questions, and I started bringing up, I'm like, oh, liberals would say, and then I would give my argument, right?
You know, someone can go get like a whole surgery done, you know, without parent approval. It's like, how is that even happening? How are they going to the doctor's appointments without the parents there?
And then like I've seen parents on social media where they're like, oh, I haven't identified my kid yet, da, da, da. And it scares me because I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're gonna grow up thinking that they don't know what they are, or like that they could transition into something else. And
But wouldn't that be transitioning with parent approval?
yeah, that's what I'm like saying, like to take away. Does that make sense?
But if they have parent approval, it sounds like you're talking about parents who give approval that they should be trans.
She was like, that's such an interesting thing. I've never thought of that, right? She gave, and I was like, I was like, cut. That's so perfect. I'm so glad I captured that like the conservative person was so clearly just kind of needed to hear the right thing and maybe got bumped in the right direction. And I posted it feeling so confident, and 90% of the comments were about how fat she was. And I really felt like what am I contributing to in this culture? And like in some ways I'm extremely proud of the left. I'm extremely proud of the people that I've met organizing and being in these conversations. And I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. And I would also say that the right definitely has its issue with violence, right? We talk about political violence, like, you know, Gretchen Whitmer, Josh Shapiro, Paul Pelosi, you know, I could go on and on. But
That was just a little recap of what happened. And it was not only something traumatic for him, but traumatic for the people who were there at the event. And it's something that's scary. It truly is scary to see happen. But it's I still can't wrap my head around the fact that Charlie's dead. I can't wrap around my head around the fact that people are celebrating this. The far left, very far left, is celebrating a death of a man with 2 children and a wife, which is outrageous to me. But let's go ahead and look at some people that were glad about Charlie's death. Let's go ahead and look at that. let's go ahead and pull this up here. Um, this is one I've very seen recently.
And there are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
See, with there, I don't understand, right? I don't understand the the point they're trying to get across, because not only do people from the left, especially Democrats, preach love and peace, they want to gun down a man, and they're happy that a man just got gunned down, not only in front of his wife, but in front of people that were there, hundreds of people that were there, that are traumatized to what happened. But let's continue.
Charlie Kirk just got shot. Oh, well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at.
I seen this dude right here on not only Facebook, but TikTok as well. Not only that, he was reposted on a family members of mine's Facebook as well, which just comes to show that it's absolutely crazy to how they react to things like this. And then they say because it's really contradicting. They say, oh well, I don't like when something bad happens unless it's to a bad person, right? But then my first response is like, okay, cool. So what if somebody on the right thought you were a bad person and they shot you? Would that be okay? Like, it makes no sense. It's really contradicting. But let's continue this. Let's see what he says.
One of the fantastic favorite 5 mile wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
That is absolutely crazy. Oh gosh, saying God's timing is absolutely right. The caption, or the closed captions right here, saying, when you've been manifesting it, with quote unquote it, to happen, but it ends up happening to Charlie Kirk. Not only does that show how childish they are, but it shows how they really don't care. They really don't care about this, and they really don't care about the people who have just been traumatized over the fact that either a friend, not a mentor, a husband just got killed. It's outrageous. It's sad to see. It's sad to see what this country has gone to, where people use freedom of speech to voice their opinions, but people hate you so much for it that they are willing to kill and even gun you down in front of hundreds of people just because they disagree with you, or just because you disagree with them. That's so outrageous for me to see. Let's go ahead and react to some more liberals getting surprised about Charlie's, or getting happy about Charlie's death. Now, here shows everybody who just promptly promptly talked about Charlie Kirk's death.
Since the
Just got
assassination of
retribution
Charlie
for
Kirk,
what they
the
said.
internet has shown its dark side.
I think the only thing that went wrong that
So
day
let's see.
was that Trump wasn't standing behind him getting a secondhand bullet.
But retribution in the form of public firing seems to be coming swiftly. Libs of TikTok has become a steady stream of calling out those who are celebrating the death of the conservative activists, from a DA in Montana to college professors, Democratic candidates, and lots of teachers.
The guy who made a living spewing evil, hate-filled rhetoric died from getting shot right in the voice box. I might be 1% less atheist today.
But it's not just libs of TikTok. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears has called for the Dean of Students of Chesterfield County Public Schools to be fired for saying, quote, "Charlie Kirk, you reap what you sow." The Republican candidate for governor saying, "This vile, heartless remark is completely unacceptable, especially from someone entrusted with our children." Also in Virginia, a realtor posted, "The world is a better place with less Trump supporters, period." She was swiftly fired from not one, but 2 jobs. Dustin Fox of Fox Homes Teams writing, "Today, we ended a team member's affiliation with our team. We condemn political violence. We
There we
expect
go.
everyone who markets under our brand to treat all people with dignity and to serve every client equally."
See, this is what happens when you decide to go ahead and celebrate a man's death. And when people come at me, especially when I debate people, and they tell and I have some rules when I debate people. Obviously, I put up rules in the description when I debate people, and they get mad and upset. They're like, free speech, free speech. But then I tell them, okay, cool. Well, since because a lot of liberals and a lot of Democrats use this too, that free speech does not mean freedom of consequence. So I use that too. And this is what happens. This is the consequence of talking about a man and celebrating a man's death that you disagreed with.
Regardless of political views. Samson Properties wrote, "A realtor affiliated with S&P made a social media post that condoned the assassination of Charlie Kirk. At Samson Properties, we firmly believe in free speech and the respectful exchange of ideas across the political spectrum. However, we cannot and will not condone or tolerate the promotion of violence in any form against any person." Then there's one teacher in Florida saying, "This is not the obituary she was hoping for, but it's a close second." Florida State Senator Jennifer Bradley announcing, "This teacher has been immediately suspended. An investigation will follow. This type of hate has no place in our schools and around our children." There were actually so many teachers in Florida celebrating Kirk's death, the Commissioner of Education had to release a letter saying he's conducting an investigation into every educator who made despicable comments on social media regarding the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis responding, "It is sad that we've seen a number of teachers across America celebrate Charlie Kirk's murder." After South Carolina Representative Nancy Mace found out a Greenville teacher said, "America became greater today." Due to Kirk's death, the Republican called the superintendent, calling for the teacher to be fired. Less than 2 hours later, she updates on X the teacher has been placed on leave and writes in the comments she agrees with people who says he needs to be fired. Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert wrote, "I'm utterly heartbroken and disgusted when she learned a suicide prevention coordinator for Colorado Department of Health described Kirk as a pro-violence dude and a white man who spews horrible stuff." Even
Oh my gosh. I paused at the wrong time. So this right here is a game called Roblox. I play it sometimes with my little brother. It's mainly a game for kids, people that are like, 12 and up play it. And now people on here are playing it just to play games and talk about the state of the world. Not even, because there are more people out there who are now 17, 16, 15 years old that are teenagers that want to be brought up into a political stance, and they decide to go on Roblox for it. And I don't play Roblox for the games on there. I use it to spread my political opinion. Same thing with Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, again, it's an app and a website where you go to meet people that either have the same or different political view as you. And not only that, you could meet people too from all over the world and that's right there. Well, that's mainly for adults. That was mainly for adults, but again, they have kid restrictions just in case if children or teenagers want to come up there and talk their opinion too. But that is absolutely crazy that they just put. It's only been 3 days, and they put this man Charlie on a T-shirt that you can wear on your Roblox avatar. But let's go back. Let's go back to here. Oh gosh. Okay, so Jasmine Morga, I can't say that name. um, if you haven't said anything about the countless mass shootings, school shootings, or crap about ICE raids, Palestine, Black Lives Matter, and the violation of rights of the LGBTQIA folks, women, or folks without access to shelter, food, clean water, but want to talk about how you should or how we should not feel or react to how a pro gun, pro violence dude died via gunshot. Literally, shut the F up and talk to yourself. Do some self-reflections and interrogations of why you speak up for a white man that spews hordes crap against every marginalized community. No heart question mark? Please look at who and what you're speaking up for. That is absolutely crazy to me because yes, he was pro gun, but he wasn't pro violence. He doesn't want violence at all whatsoever. There's no evidence that I've seen from my research about him spewing violence. About him spewing violence, and there could have been some miscommunications from the left side because they don't know how to communicate properly because they are a little bit small minded. But again,
Even
sad to see.
internet games are reenacting the shooting and holding virtual
No way. People are reenacting the shooting. Oh my gosh.
parties celebrating Kirk's death. Representative Anna Polina Luna has contacted the FCC and the Apple App Store to try and take down any references to the assassination of Kirk on the platform Roblox. The Florida Republican has also called for social media companies to take down the videos capturing the moments he was shot. While there's definitely a debate on whether or not the graphic videos of Kirk's death should be shown, those rejoicing in his death are receiving rapid retribution. Shortly after the targeted political assassination of a man who focused all his power on debating college kids, investigators condemned those celebrating his death.
If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere.
Amen.
And while people are saying the rise in political temperatures caused this tragedy, and others are calling for dialing down the rhetoric, social media seems to want someone to pay. I'm Amy Delora for Washington Examiner.
Man.
You should
wife.
delegate more. Sure, but first, I need to hire, and that's a full-time job on its own. I was on the team at the fast-scaling startup. We doubled.
He has to. Apologies, I keep on forgetting that I mute the mic. But as as a country, not only just a country built on fighting for freedom, but as a country that has come together to form a relationship between different groups of people, it's sad to see that our country has come down to the fact that we need to start throwing bullets around. I myself am a firearm owner. I myself am trained on firearm safety and firearm cleaning. But that doesn't give me the right to use my weapons against other people. That doesn't give me the right to harm another person just because of a different opinion or a political opinion. It's so sad to see how many people are so happy about this. I just can't. It's hard for me to believe that people are like this. Like not too long ago, I was arguing with the dude on Facebook that seemed to be happy about Charlie's death, and quite literally in the argument, and this is public too, so you can go see it. I don't care. My arguments to not only protect me, but to protect my speech are going to be public. Any argument that I have will be public and either recorded or televised, because not only does that protect me, but that protects the other person from somebody saying they said something else that they didn't, or wanting to say something to them thinking they said something else. So it's to protect me and them. So if you want to, again, it's public. I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not gonna say any names because I don't believe that. If you want to go see it, you can do your own research. But again, he quite literally sent a GIF or a GIF in the comments of when me and him were arguing, and it was the GTA 5 sound, or well, GTA 5 lettering saying "wasted," and in the background it had Charlie Kirk getting shot. But there are bad people out there, man, and we gotta understand as a country, no matter what color you are, no matter where you're from, whether you're a first class citizen or a second class citizen, whether you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, and how you're brought up in this world. Everybody's a human being, and no matter your different opinion, no matter your different view on things, you have the right to life, not only as a human being, but as an American citizen. And that's what Charlie stood for, that's what I stand for, and that's what Turning Point USA stands for. Much love to everybody who watches my stream, everybody who watches the podcast on YouTube. Thank you for everything. And this is the last message for Charlie, because I know he's watching. And this is the last message to Turning Point USA too. Charlie Kirk was not only the best of us, or better than us, that's for sure, better than me. He was a man willing to do things, knowing good and well that he could get killed for it, and that's what happened. Charlie Kirk was warned multiple times that he could have got killed during his speeches or during his debates, and yet he still did it anyways. This is America's turning point, and this is USA's turning point. As a conservative, we do not fight with bullets, but we fight with our words. We do not get angry, for anger shall make us lose our minds. But we don't fight back with bullets. Not the right. We fight with our voice. God gave us our voice to fight for what we think is right. And that's what Charlie did. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what Turning Point USA is going to do. Much love, everybody. This has been Couch Life Podcast, your host, Joshua Lopez. Much love.